tomorrow will be 47, and then it's going to be 48, and then 51. That's not how spring in Wisconsin works. It's like, hey, we're going to be 60, and then the system rolls on through, and then it's like, oh, and then it's going to be 40. Like then that, well, think about it. Then that average would be over those 2 days, 50.
Well, I think, most people are.
Average from.
I think most people are happy we're seeing a little bit of rain because it means that the grass is going to get greener quicker. But is snow over? I mean, are we done with that finally?
Here, I have been noticing.
That sounds ominous,
trend.
Fish.
That's because it is. I've been working through some really crazy Aprils. I remember a couple of years ago, I was living up by the Green Lake area, and it was snowing out in May, and I was watching the people putting in piers and bringing boat lifts and pontoons out in the snow in May. So it's just been like this trend has been going like this, where all of a sudden you get these shots of winter all the way April, sometimes going into May. So I'm watching a system on Thursday that has the potential to bring some rain or a little snow. And it might be flat out snow in the northern part of the state. It's too early to call here, but so am I saying we're done with snow? No, I'm not going to say that yet.
Do you want to stick your neck out and tell us what next Sunday's going to be like? Because I know there are little girls out there everywhere who want to wear their Easter finery, get those Easter bonnets on as they go out to church and brunch and everything. What's it looking like a week from today? Any idea?
Well, now you're really putting me on the spot. 7 days. However, I did forecast out that far, and I have partly cloudy and 47. So
that doesn't
that's
sound like that doesn't sound like real Easter Sunday weather, does it?
Well, it depends on what time Easter falls in. It's good old Wisconsin, where of course you can have some crummy weather in April. So again, that's not far from where it should be. Do I see like this huge heat wave coming by then? No. I actually have a chance of showers on Saturday and 52, but I don't know. That's a long ways out, but that's just what I have for a forecast now.
All right. Well, we won't put you on the spot for that then. Just tell us what today and tomorrow are going to be like.
Fine. I can probably do that better. We've got today some passing clouds. Like sometimes you'll see some sun, and then other times you'll see a batch of clouds move on by, but nothing falling out of them. It's going to be a mild, breezy day. I have a high of 63. We can handle that.
Oh, I could deal with that.
Already, Libby, this morning, I'm sure as you drove into work, you're like, hey, it's not like yesterday where it was like 18 degrees. Now it's in the 40s already for most of us. So, again, 63 today, breezy. Maybe some peaks of sunshine at times. Tonight, it's 47. That's our low tonight, 47. Remember, the average high is supposed to be 49. So it's going to be a mild night, which sets us up for here's the thing. It depends on where you live tomorrow. Some of you are going to go, oh, that was nice, and then all of a sudden the lake breeze kicks in and cools you way down. I'm going to do a high at the Milwaukee airport of 68, and then it's going to cool down probably through the 60s, maybe even upper 50s by the end of the day. But inland tomorrow, if you're away from Lake Michigan, I have 72. The sun.
But by Thursday, we might be looking at snow again.
Yeah, but first we have to get through late on Monday night, maybe a couple scattered thunderstorms or showers developing, and that continues at times, some scattered on and off showers and storms on Tuesday into Tuesday evening. Tuesday's high have is 67, and then Wednesday is 41.
There's that extreme again. But
then it's around 40 on Thursday with that chance of rain or snow.
Okay, so at least we can enjoy today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and hope for the best for Easter Sunday.
Yeah, hope for the best. I mean, current trends doesn't have like a big warm-up, but I don't have it like Arctic cold either. So, I mean, that would be a very springy Easter.
Well, we appreciate your insight and your forecast. Michael Fish from TMJ4. It's always great to have you here.
All right, same, Libby.
Hey, have a good one, Fish. Take care. All right, it is 8:13 at WTMJ, and as I said to you before, we have a very busy show today. You know, of course, Thursday was opening day, so we've invited WTMJ's Dom Catronio to join us. He's going to take an up-close look at how the Brewers are going to stack up against their division rivals this season, based on those first couple games, but it's always great to hear his prognostication. Then new at 9, we're going to talk with former Congressman Scott Klug about those TSA lines and if we are over our head in Iran. And then looking at the medical side of things, are you aware there's a new colorectal test that does not involve a colonoscopy? Oh, wait till you hear this. Then if you got kids and you're wondering, what are they going to do in this economy for a living? Well, how prepared is your high school student for joining the workforce? We'll talk about making sure they have the skills they need, whether or not they decide to go to college. Tim Gibbons is here. He's the editor-in-chief of the Milwaukee Business Journal, and he's going to tell us why the Brewers have adjusted the way they do their telecasts. Sandy Max joins us to talk about Larry David's new show, plus a documentary about euchre. Then we're going to talk with our consumer expert. She's got a warning for you. And if you have not, if you've been thinking about hiring people, to do that outside work, there are a few things you need to know before you do it. We'll take a look back at the week in review. Nazir's in the newsroom. Isaac's pushing those buttons. And coming up in just 2 minutes, it's Eric Bilstead with another Everyday Hero. Well, as Fish was telling you just a couple minutes ago, we don't have such a bad day today. It's going to be partly to mostly cloudy, breezy, and mild, and a high of 63, so we can look forward to that on this Sunday. Currently, our temperature is 41 degrees at WTMJ.
Save big money on your next painting project at Menards. Pristine interior paint and primer in one is Dutch Boy's best hiding and most durable paint. It delivers a smooth, elegant finish while providing maximum scuff, stain, and mark resistance. Save big money on Dutch Boy paints and get your painting project started today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
You've seen the photos, but nothing compares to being there. In 2026, trade your screen for the real thing, the quiet ripple of the Rhine from an Avalon Waterways suite, or the storied streets of Italy with Globus. At Fox World Travel, we handle every detail so you can focus on the moment, not the logistics. Stop dreaming about the world and start walking through it. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or visit foxworldtravel.com to plan your 2026 journey today.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
It's 8:17, and it's time to recognize another everyday hero. Here's WTMJ's Eric Bilstead.
An everyday hero is when Wisconsin's Morning News celebrates an average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning they'd be saving a life. Today we head to the Blue Ridge Mountains of northern Georgia. Boy Scout Troop 277, based out of Houston, was on a whitewater rafting trip. Pretty neat summer trip for the boys. Now, these trips and these whitewater rapids can be intense, depending on skill level. You wear a helmet, you got a life jacket and all that. Well, Assistant Scoutmaster David Lemley was in a raft with a handful of scouts. When the rapids got rough, he was actually thrown from the raft once. He was able to climb back on board, but then it happened again. And this time, David's foot got caught in the raft while his body was on the outside. His foot wedged in the seat, and he couldn't get himself out of the water.
My waist and head were underwater, and so it's like you're laying on your back across the side of the boat. And my head's just bouncing off of rocks.
Lemley speaking with KHOU 11 in the Houston area. So his weight has him stuck over the side of the raft under the water while his foot is wedged under that seat of the raft.
I'm fighting to do whatever I can to keep breathing, but I could not get back into the boat to free my leg.
It was becoming serious. That's when 13-year-old Devin Champenoy showed up.
I took like 3 deep breaths and then acted calmly and safely.
Devin had been on the front of the raft. He turned and used scout training to free the Scoutmaster's trapped foot. Then they were able to get him back on the raft. While, by the way, they were still going down the rapids. Lemley was busted up pretty good. He even broke his foot, but he's alive.
There's no doubt in my mind, had Devin not stepped forward and released my foot, I was going to die.
Devin saves his assistant scoutmaster's life. He was even awarded the Boy Scout Honor Medal with Crossed Palms. This is the Scouts' highest honor for heroism. Fewer than 300 scouts in history have ever received it. Devin's response to being asked if he's a hero?
I didn't feel it at the moment. It was just instinct at the moment. It took a while for me to take the fact that this happened and I saved a life, but I think now I've accepted that.
Accept this, Devin. You are an everyday hero. Everyday Hero, sponsored by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Load up and cash in at our Buy More, Earn More event this week at Fleet Farm. From March 23rd through the 29th, all Fleet Rewards members will earn bonus rewards on qualifying purchases for the whole family. Earn $10 when you spend $100, earn $25 when you spend $200, and earn $50 in rewards when you spend $350. Membership's free. Sign up in-store or online. And remember, the bigger the haul, the more you earn. So stock up now at Fleet Farm's Buy More, Earn More event. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
This is Libby Collins. You know, a move later in life can be overwhelming. But thankfully, my friends at Bruce's team are here to make it simple, respectful, and worry-free. Did you know Bruce's team has 47 years of senior-focused real estate expertise? They've sold over 3,000 homes. Well, what does that mean for you? Bruce's team specializes in guiding seniors through smooth, stress-free transitions. As a matter of fact, they've been doing it so long and so well, they were the winner of the 2024 Better Business Bureau Ethics Award. So if it's time for you to make that change where you live, Bruce's team can help you with everything from downsizing to reliable contractors who can help you get top dollar for your home. And the best part is they handle all those details so you receive top value quickly and with ease. But why don't you find out for yourself? Call them at 262-242-6177. That's 262-242-6177. Or visit brucesteam.com today.
A new deck from Outdoor Living Unlimited is built to last. We are Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech deck installation team. For amazing ideas, go to Outdoor Living Unlimited's Instagram page. For a free estimate, go to OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Fast, furious, unfinished business.
Miles Turner going downhill. He'll hammer it down. Serving up a facial on Isaiah Stewart.
The Bucks look to shift into gear at Fiserv Forum as they take on the Pacers.
How about that play from the big fella?
Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 2 on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Time to check in with Timothy Gibbons, Milwaukee Business Journal. And Tim, I don't know if you were out on the ballpark on Thursday, But that opening day was a huge success. But apparently, you found out, well, there's some news about how much it's going to cost the team to broadcast the games this season.
Yeah, and obviously if the season continues like that opener did, we're definitely going to have a lot of viewers who want to watch it. So without going too deep into the weeds, we've been covering this for a couple months now. There's basically an issue with FanDuel Sports, which was the broadcaster, that has basically imploded. So the team is working with Major League Baseball to basically be its own broadcaster. There's a financial hit to doing that, $20 million to the Brewers' bottom line, which is the net impact of losing the fees that FanDuel paid to broadcast, as well as now having the added expense of having to do it themselves.
So how are they working that out?
So it's basically going to be the Major League Baseball is producing the telecast. The Brewers are going to be selling advertising and doing all of that sort of things. And the goal of the team, and they're very clear on this, is it's still going to be high quality, exactly what you want if you are watching those games on TV. They're going to have the same play-by-play announcers. They're going to have all of the things that you expect from a baseball telecast.
How does that affect the viewers here in Milwaukee?
So in many ways, the viewing experience is going to be the same. You can go to the team site. You can see the channels that they'll be on, which depends obviously on where you live and which cable or satellite service you subscribe to. To some extent, you might not, as a viewer, see a difference. The difference is for the team that they're making less money out of the entire thing.
And of course, the good news is you can always hear the Brewers here on WTMJ.
Which obviously is the very best way if you can't be at the ballpark to listen to it. I mean, everyone knows that.
All right, let's move on. In Kenosha, a lot of people have talked about a warehouse that's been sitting vacant for a number of years. But you broke some news here about a foreign entity that's decided to buy it and I guess invest in Wisconsin?
Yeah, the Business Journal recently actually expanded our real estate coverage to the south, and it's paying off with stories like this. Where this one, so on Friday we broke the news that a Chinese electric vehicle battery parts manufacturer have bought the property for $25 million, and it's part of a $72 million investment that they're making in setting up shop there. It's going to be the U.S. headquarters for this company called Kidali, which is a Chinese manufacturer.
All right, and why have they decided to come to Wisconsin?
So they're actually being a little bit mum about the exact details, but it is a sign of, sometimes we look around at politics and we look at, what does it mean if you buy a Tesla sort of thing, and it's unclear what the future of electric vehicles is, but all of the smart people I talk to say that EVs really are going to be the future. The technology is getting better. The range is getting better. I've covered logistics for years, and Tesla's rolling out a semi-truck that's electrical powered, and truck drivers are so far ecstatic about it. So EVs very much are the wave of the future, and they're basically seeing this as a way of making sure that they are prepared for that future. And if you look around Milwaukee, there's a lot of companies who are involved in that automotive space. So it makes sense that they would want to be here kind of as part of the overall ecosystem in the industry.
Do you have any idea how many jobs that might bring?
They're still working on some of those details. As I said, the company's been kind of in stealth mode around all of this. So we know how much they're investing. We know when they're going to open, but some of those details about hiring and stuff are still to come.
We're talking with Tim Gibbons. He's the editor-in-chief of the Milwaukee Business Journal, and we're taking a look at business news this week. And let's talk about Harley. They made an announcement about they're spending, $6.5 million on their headquarters so workers can come back to the office. But I guess those would be the lucky workers because they also announced some cuts. Let's break that down.
Yeah, so it's two different things that kind of sit uneasily next to each other. But the investment is $6.8 million to do exterior work on their historic headquarters there on Juneau Avenue. And they're embarking on that as they are calling their workforce back to the office. So this was kind of a sticking point with the former CEO, who was not based in Milwaukee and was very big on the work remote, in part because he was working remote from New Mexico. With the new CEO, Artie Starrs, he's come in, he's here in Milwaukee, he's bringing workers back to the office, and it's somewhat trying to be a cultural shift sort of thing. It's part of an entire strategic plan that the company and its new CEO are going to be rolling out in the months to come as they look at what their workforce needs are and what their strategy should be going forward. As you said, workers are coming back, but there's going to be fewer of those workers. Employers were told this past week that there would be a reduction in force. Interestingly, these are cuts in their white-collar workforce. Over the past several years, there have been cuts from the people actually building the motorcycles as sales have dropped, and this is kind of right-sizing things as they move forward.
All right, well, we've been hearing a lot about the growth in population around southeastern Wisconsin, but you uncovered, that Milwaukee County doesn't seem to be benefiting from that as much as the other areas around this part of Wisconsin. Break that down for us, Tim.
Yeah, that's a great summation. So we got an early look at census data that was released late last week, and it's interesting when you dig into the numbers. So if you look across the broader Southern County Milwaukee region, it didn't grow that much over the past 5 years. From 2020 to 2025, fewer than 1,400 people actually grew the population. And most of that growth that is happening is not happening in Milwaukee County. Milwaukee County actually declined by 1.5% in population. Basically, something like 46,000 people moved out of the area, which was offset a bit by that increase from birth and death. But overall, the population of Milwaukee County is smaller than it was. We do know, interestingly, where the people who are coming into the area, where they're coming from, at least in two broad buckets. The Census Bureau tracks domestic migration and international migration. The area across the board very much benefited from international migration. Something like 27,000 new residents came to the Southern County region from other countries, which offset the 34 or so thousand people who left. That pool of people obviously is going to drop with the federal crackdown on immigration. Much fewer of those people, and you can see that in the data from 2025 already with that number dropping.
It's fascinating to break that down, Tim. And then finally, in the Milwaukee Business Journal, you had some really positive news about a company that is 119 years old. And you know what I find interesting about that is you hear this adage that family businesses begin to falter in the third generation, but this one has gone against that trend.
Very much so. And what's fascinating, we've actually had Sandy Siegel, who's the president of the company, which is called Emmy Day, and we've had her on some panel discussions, and it really is a company that has thought through, as so many of the family-owned companies in Southeast Wisconsin have, really thought through how you skip that curse of the third generation. So the news that we had this week is that Sandy Siegel is moving from president to CEO, where she's going to be focused on strategic leadership and guidance. And then there is a new president, some other new executives that are later generation, fifth generation of the family. To me, that's the important bit. Well, actually, there's two important bits. I'm a long time, I've covered logistics for years, and Emmy Day is one of these companies. They're a customs broker and very influential in the industry. So it's good to see them setting the stage for future growth. And it says something about the fabric of the business community here, that you have these companies that are able to continue generation after generation.
And they happen to be women.
Yes, which is not necessarily common in the customs brokerage logistics industry. They very much are a female-led company that in this Women's History Month is something that we definitely should celebrate.
Tim Gibbons, editor-in-chief of the Milwaukee Business Journal. It's always great to have you here.
Great to talk to you. Go Brewers.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
When you think about your financial future, it helps to have fee-only fiduciary guidance that puts your interests first. At Annex Wealth Management, you receive comprehensive planning from a team that includes wealth managers, financial planners, and investment specialists working together to support your financial life. Annex's advice is designed to stay aligned with your goals without commissions influencing recommendations. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Click Get Started at annexwealth.com.
At Blaine's, we know you do things your way, so why shop the same retail giants as everyone else when you can easily find the trusted farm essentials you need for spring at unbeatable farm and fleet prices? Like select Balin hog or cattle fence panels, rewards priced at $32.99, 15% off assorted Hillman hardware, and AgriMaster premium pine shavings just $5.99 a bundle. In store or online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Coming up to 8:30, and we've got Nazir Spencer in the WTMJ Breaking News Center. And Nazir, before you get to those stories, are you aware it's Vietnam Veterans Day, and there's a ceremony at the Milwaukee War Memorial at 10:30 this morning?
I was not aware.
Well, we'll be following up on that one, but before you do anything else, tell us about this story about the man who was accused of killing a cop.
Yes, thank you, Libby. The trial for a Milwaukee man accused of killing Milwaukee police officer Kendall Corder is set to begin on Monday. Prosecutors say 23-year-old Tremaine Jones faces charges including first-degree intentional homicide and attempted homicide in connection to a June 2025 shooting near 24th and Garfield. Investigators say Jones was firing a gun before officers arrived, and Officer Corder was shot while responding to the scene. He died days later at the hospital. Jones has pleaded not guilty and could face life in prison if convicted. A Madison teacher has been arrested in connection with an alleged inappropriate relationship with a student. Madison police say 28-year-old Eliav Goldman, a music teacher at Vel Phillips Memorial High School and Toki Middle School, is accused of grooming. The Madison Metropolitan School District says Goldman was previously placed on leave and is now cooperating with law enforcement. Superintendent Dr. Joe Gothard says the district has a zero tolerance for misconduct and is offering support to those impacted. No formal charges have been filed yet, and the investigation is ongoing. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. No major issues or delays, and full freeway speeds across the system. Here's your WTMJ forecast today. Partly to mostly cloudy with a high of 63. Tonight becoming mostly clear with a low of 47. Monday partly cloudy and warm. Dry during the day, but a chance of a shower or storm at night. Highs of 68 near the lake and 72 inland. Tuesday, scattered showers and storms with a high of 67. Wednesday, partly cloudy and cooler with a high of 41. And Thursday, a chance of a rain and snow mix. Right now, and a high of 40. Right now in Green Bay, it's 41. Madison, 42. Muskego, 43. And in Milwaukee, 42 degrees. I'm Nazir Spencer, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 8:35.
Thanks a lot, Nazir. And in just 2 minutes, it's the Week in Review brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, and they offer early memory loss classes to help you. They specialize in this area. It's kindness at the core, locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. It's compassion, it's empathy. It's Wisconsin-based and family-owned, always welcoming people to come tour and welcome their new residents. I've seen their places. They're top-notch. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
So I was talking with another real estate agent who has been in the business even longer than I have, with a couple of other big-name companies. He was talking about how it's tough to compete with us because we have good agents and we charge less commission. And he even said that he lost a few listings to us, and it always bothered him because he realized that he was doing everything that we were doing, but he was charging more. We do charge less, and we do everything that a full-service agency does. Because we are full-service real estate agents. The only difference is we give you our very best commission rate up front. You do pay for what you get. And with Century 21 Benefit Realty for 1.9% on the listing side of your home, with a cap of $19,000 commission on any size home, you can get full-service experienced agents, MLS marketing, professional photos, even virtual walkthroughs, and everything you get from any other big-name agent, all under the umbrella of the Century 21 brand. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
It's opening weekend in Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling good. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Left center. Bye-bye baseball. Soto back. Out of here.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 12:35 as the Brewers take on the White Sox. This series is sponsored by Matrix Basements. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Oh, yeah.
And welcome back to the second half hour of Wisconsin Weekend Morning News. I'm Libby Collins. Well, there's a 9th national title for the Badgers this week. It was also an unlikely murder. And baseball season arrived. There's so much more, too. It's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
Over 30 people are injured, including 2 in critical condition after a tour bus crashed in Green Bay.
There were 54 people on board at the time of the accident. They were headed from Chicago to a casino in Michigan.
Bob's contributions to the Green Bay Packers will be remembered forever.
My memory will always be him with a cup of coffee, showing up in the office. Are you getting everything you need? And how's Jessica? And I just came from an Irish Catholic wedding, so I'm going to get choked up here. Come on.
There's a big tournament going on in college athletics right now, but it's not on the court. It's in the rink.
And here comes Enright to the net. Walks in. Oh, it's gone! Great day for your 9th national championship.
We were watching some of the highlights of it yesterday. My mom looked at me and she goes, maybe Frankie needs to be a hockey player.
The animal rights activists who went to Ridgeland Farms to remove more than 20 beagles say they are going back. Activist and actress Alexander Paul. Where would all of those dogs go if you're successful?
They would go to loving homes, which is something they are not experiencing right now.
Quadruple amputee cornhole champion arrested on suspicion of murder. He's really good at bags.
How?
Crazy. I have no words.
No one does anything by themselves, right? Whether it's MLK, Cesar Chavez.
Now it's about how do we keep the movement moving forward. And especially now in this country, over 97% of all hate crime victims we help right now are actually U.S. citizens.
We're going to be talking about the Ozaukee County coroner who's accused of faking something.
Accusations that Deppich submitted mileage reimbursement requests for trips the investigation says he never took.
Did he think that no one would see? How far is Brookfield from Germantown?
The Hannah Montana 20th anniversary special premieres tonight on Disney Plus and Hulu. I feel like maybe it's appropriate during Women's History Month.
TSB says now an emergency vehicle hit by landing a plane at LaGuardia did not have a key piece of safety equipment that could have set off an alert.
We started talking about what it takes to actually report fraud.
We started going to Facebook and seeing some of the company owners posting stacks of cash.
Like, if you know anything about the margins for people who do programs like this, typically not new car worthy.
For the first time, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie sits down for an interview about her mother's abduction.
Someone needs to do the right thing. We are in agony. That she needs to come home now.
Yes. What is the leading cause of death among children?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
That office has had a whole host of changes at its top leadership position, whether it was the Office of Violence Prevention, the Office of Community Wellness and Safety.
This has kind of become a black eye in the city.
Tonight's scheduled debate between state Supreme Court candidates Judge Muriel Azar and Judge Chris Taylor is being postponed. Representatives for Judge Taylor say she's been diagnosed with kidney stones. The debate will now happen on April 2nd. Early voting for the spring race has already started ahead of Election Day on April 7th.
Baseball that counts is finally back.
They are coming in fast and furious. Folks are pouring in for the parking lots.
Opening day always sparks that thought that summer's around the corner, and baseball happens every day, so it's something to do.
Just outside American Family Field, the custom-made grill turned a few heads, and it looks a whole lot like the ballpark itself.
Griddler Park, the roof is inspirational.
First offering to Freelick is a fly ball to right. It is high. It is deep. Bye-bye baseball. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 20 strikeouts as a staff today for the Brewers, highlighted by a franchise record 11 from Jacob Mizorowski.
I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome!
And the Brewers win it 14-2 on opening day over the White Sox.
What a week, eh?
What a week. It's still 2025.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
And we'll be talking Brewers around 9:21 this morning, and that is the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Text the word week to the Siding Unlimited talk and text line at 855-616-1620 if you want to hear it all again. It's 8:42, and we have 40 degrees at WTMJ. Coming up next, are you thinking of hiring somebody for outdoor work? Well, you need to hear this before you do.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Homebuyer Helper Brian Wickert. One of our senior loan consultants recently helped their first-time homebuyer client win over 13 other offers. Of course, it was a team effort with their buyer's agent, and it centered around helping our clients understand what little difference there was to their monthly payment to offer over the asking price. And again, what little difference it would make to give the sellers peace of mind that they'd still buy even if the appraisal came in up to $20,000 short. But that's not all. Our consultant also texted and called the listing agent to reinforce how well qualified our buyers were and that they could, in fact, still close even if the appraisal came in low. Your Accunet consultant will help you understand your options so you can decide how aggressive you want to be. Then we do everything possible to help you win. Don't let someone else end up sleeping in your dream home. Know your options and get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Look, it's Jake from our store in Kenosha.
Hi, Monica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Rick.
Your email said you had a big surprise.
Look and tell me what you see.
Wow, I see 9 perfect examples of the classic diamond solitaire engagement ring.
They're gorgeous.
These rings are exactly what people imagine when they hear the words engagement ring.
Monica, do you think it will always be like that?
Evermore.
That long?
And each of these is 3/4 of a carat.
$998.
Unbelievable. So how much do we sell them for?
That is how much we sell them for.
Can we do that?
We're the largest employee-owned jewelry company in America, Rick. We can do anything we want.
But for how long?
Evermore.
People can choose any of the 9 most popular style solitaires, 3/4 of a carat, and each of them was created in the heart of a miniature star.
5 different diamond shapes, 2 colors of gold. Evermore, just $998.
Or $14.98 with 1 carat diamond center with diamonds on the side.
Learn more at KesslersDiamonds.com.
8:44 on WTMJ. It's that time of year. We're hiring people to do all that work outside our house. But what do you need to know before you make a commitment? Let's ask our consumer expert from DATCAP. Here's Michelle Reinen.
Whether you're seeking that landscaper or a lawn care service, ask for recommendations from friends and family and trusted resources, including neighbors. And then get more than one estimate. Be sure that everyone is bidding on the exact same work using the same materials so you can truly do an apples-to-apples comparison. And then get the names from the contractor of recent customers. Call those customers. Did the contractor show up on time, clean up afterwards, and follow their guarantees? Would that person hire that contractor again? And then practice caution with anyone who's going door to door, because now's the time that they're seeking those job opportunities, and they will provide good offers. However, you don't need to act right away. Take your time to check them out and compare their offers to those other estimates. And then call Consumer Protection to check to see if there's any complaints filed against the contractor you're thinking you want to use. And after you've made your decision, get everything in writing. Get a written contract so you truly know the landscaping work that will be done or the amount of lawn care service that will be provided through the entire season, and you'll know how much you need to pay and when you need to pay.
And finally, Michelle, how do we contact that Bureau of Consumer Protection and find out if a company has complaints?
You can call the hotline at 800-422-7128.
It's 8:46, 42 degrees at WTMJ. We'll have your forecast after this.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life, rejuvenate.
So it's all too common of a story. And it's common enough that we account for a certain percentage of our new patients to make their first appointment and get cold feet. They put it off. I'm not sure why, because our physicians are offering legitimate medical pain relief treatment. The combination of hyaluronic acid and Toradol cushions joints and has an extremely powerful effect in reducing inflammation. So much so that a vast majority of Rejuvenex patients report a significant improvement with their pain. I guess it's human nature. But sometimes human nature keeps us in our comfort zone, even when it means remaining living in pain. So after you make your appointment to alleviate your pain, and that little voice tries to convince you to put it off, don't, because your pain problems can be solved, and you can live a better life.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Call today, and there's a good chance we could be seeing you tomorrow.
It's going to be partly partly to mostly cloudy today. We'll have some breezes. It's going to be mild, 63 for a high. Then clear tonight, down to 47. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm. Dry during the day, but we will have a chance of a shower or storm at night. That high temperature is going to get all the way up to around 68. And by the lake, you might even get 72 inland. Should be a pretty nice day. Then Tuesday, the showers and storms come back with a high of 67. Getting chilly again on Wednesday. Cloudy, cooler, 41 only for a high. And believe it or not, on Thursday, we've got a chance of a rain-snow mix with a high of 40 degrees. Right now, we're looking at temperatures in the 40s around the area. Oconomowoc has 43, Cedarburg's at 43, Brookfield's at 43, and we have 42 degrees at WTMJ. Coming up next, it's Sandy Max. Guess what? Larry David is coming back to HBO.
Join the Brewers series against the White Sox March 26th, 28th, and 29th. Grab this year's first giveaway on Saturday the 28th, a replica of American Family Field for the first 25,000 fans, courtesy of American Family Insurance. On the 29th, it's Kids Cheer Free. Buy an adult terrace seat and receive a free ticket for kids ages 14 and under. On Sunday the 29th, the first 5,000 kids get a drip necklace giveaway. Grab your seats at brewers.com/tickets.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. If 2025 didn't go exactly as planned, you're not alone. You made it through, and that's what counts. Now it's time for taxes, and for a lot of people, that's when the stress kicks in, especially if things got messy along the way. The good news? A rough year doesn't mean a ruined future. We helped Nate fix a tax mess with the IRS created by one of those national firms and saved him $103,000 in penalties, plus another $150,000 in taxes, because we know the tax law. Imagine walking into tax season with a plan, clarity, and someone in your corner who knows the tax law and knows how to use it. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call us now at 414-325-2040 to arrange a meeting to see how we can help you. Don't wait. Call now. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
The only place to get this.
Bucks have lost now 3 consecutive games, and for the second time this year are now 11 games under 500.
With some of this.
If I would have told you, hey, they're going to be fully healthy to start the season, and then they're not healthy again until mid-March, it should come as no surprise that they are where they are in the standings. At the same token, injury should not be an excuse.
Get it all on Bucks Talk, your all-encompassing Milwaukee Bucks postgame show. Only heard here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Well, here she is. It's always great to see Sandy Max from What's on Tap, and you're here this Sunday, Sandy, to talk about one of my favorite TV characters. I don't know about you, but I have been a long time Curb Your Enthusiasm fan, and Larry David, I think, is uproarious.
I don't even think Larry David is a character in the sense that he's a fictional character. He's just a real-life character, because after seeing Seinfeld, we realized what a great actor George Costanza was, really embodying Larry David's personality, because now we've seen Larry David in his true form with Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've missed that show. But I heard some good news, and you're going to tell us about it, that he's going to come back for a limited series on HBO, and this has quite a twist on it with some amazing guest stars.
It is like dropping your favorite show, Curb Your Enthusiasm, into stories from the past 2.5 centuries. It's a show called Life, Larry, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness on HBO this summer. It will debut on June 26th, all the way weekly, 7 episodes for a grand finale in August. But Libby, I think you will love this because, comedy is like A plus B does not equal C. So you had the Larry David show living his life in California and all the different characters there. Now drop him into different times and places in American history. The trailer that came out, that famous photo of the kiss on VJ Day, a sailor just sweeping a gal off her feet.
Oh,
the very romantic victory pose. will put Larry David in that. And the premise is like he sees that happen. He's like, oh, okay, we're celebrating. And so he tries to sweep a gal off her feet. And of course, she is like, ew, get away from me. I'm being accosted. And then name calling happens from there. And that gets very awkwardly terrible in the Curb Your Enthusiasm way very quickly. So it is this filter of awkwardness and probably reality in these different historical situations. So that's the one historical situation we know of. We don't know the rest of the series locations or plots for the 7 episodes, but we do know, since you're such a huge Curb fan, there will be cast members that you will see, like Jeff Garlin and John Hamm, Vince Vaughn, a lot of people, J.B. Smoove. You'll recognize people in Life, Larry, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness.
Is Jerry Seinfeld going to be on it?
We don't know. That would be a cool surprise. But there are guest stars, supposedly, that will be here. And here's one. Will Barack Obama be in this? And why do I say that? This whole show is being produced by Higher Ground, which is the production company that former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle created almost 10 years ago, and now are collaborating with Larry David in this. Like, they've truly been in the writing room together. Larry David even told Barack Obama in a writing session, he revealed at South by Southwest earlier this month that he told Barack Obama, well, I'm the president here. Like, imagine having that kind of collaborative, creative relationship.
Well, I'll tell you, this is going to be a pretty funny series. And like you said, it's kind of in good humor, celebrating our 250th birthday of the United States. And I think we're going to be looking forward to seeing it. Now, another thing you talked about on your show this week was that Uke documentary. And I want to follow up on that because here we are. It's the beginning of baseball season. And I think a lot of people really want to see that film.
Oh, it is such a wonderful film. I got the chance to see a screener of it, and it will probably be tightened up even more, but Libby, it's told through the filter of the past 3 seasons. This film documentary crew, September Club, is a local film collective, and so it's made by local longtime Brewers fans, people who love Bob Uecker. So that's, I think, essential right there. But Steve Farr and Michael Volman, the co-directors, joined me in the studio to tell me about behind the scenes. They came up with the idea in 2022, then in 2023 started filming and following Bob Uecker at the ballpark and getting to spend time at home with him and his wife Judy. So you're going to get to see really intimate moments in their home, going through photo albums and memorabilia and interviewing people like Merle Harmon, people who Bob worked with over the years. So it really is special. It spotlights him and his baseball career in the minor leagues and the major leagues and vintage footage that you haven't seen before. Also, of course, you can't do a documentary about Bob Uecker and not talk about Major League and Johnny Carson and Mr. Belvedere. So it touches on that, but it also touches on his personal life because he was, as much as he was open and we all feel like Bob was our pal with all the stories he told on WTMJ for over 5 decades on the radio, he still had a private life. So it's a window to that last year or two where he was battling lung cancer. So it really is a poignant film, and it's a great film to really preserve the legacy of a true Milwaukee man and a true icon in broadcasting, baseball, and entertainment.
So how can we see the film? That's what I want to know.
Exactly, because the Brewers teased everybody on opening day with a 20-minute preview on the big screen in the outfield. But here's where we can all see it on the big screen. Opening night of the Milwaukee Film Festival. Circle your calendar, April 16th at the Oriental Theater. A Milwaukee landmark to celebrate a Milwaukee landmark. I think it's just going to be a wonderful occasion for fans of Bob Uecker to get together and really celebrate his life in a beautiful film way.
And that will definitely be a sellout. You know
Yeah.
that. Sandy, what are you going to talk about on What's on Tap this week?
It is theater season announcement time, and our friends in Elm Grove, Sunset Playhouse, had a season announcement. So Ella Walker, their executive managing director, is going to join me in the WTMJ studio on April 1st, keeping you up to date on culture in our area.
And we will be listening. Sandy Max, it is always great to have you here.
Thank you, Libby.
It's 8:57. Still ahead in the next hour on Wisconsin Weekend Morning News. Speaking of the Brewers, we're going to be joined by Dominic Cotroneo. He, of course, is the host of Brewers Warm Up, Brewers Extra Innings, Brewers Weekly. We're going to talk about the Brewers. Also, we're going to hear about a new test for colorectal cancer. And guess what? It does not involve a colonoscopy. And if you've got that high school kid who is saying, I don't know, Mom, what am I going to do when I graduate? Well, we've got some news for you on how they can become a member of the skilled workforce. But first, new at 9, we're going to be joined by former Wisconsin Congressman Scott Klug, talking about the frustration voters are feeling with high gas prices, TSA lines, and so much more. It's all ahead on Wisconsin Weekend Morning News.
Hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, cold plunge. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Sale is happening at the Realtors Home and Garden Show inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park. For a limited time, you can save thousands with factory direct pricing and special show discounts. Shop floor models, brand new inventory, and exclusive show-only deals you won't find anywhere else. Don't miss the Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Sale, March 20th through the 29th, only at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Come see it, try it, and save big at the show. My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
John Mercure here for Connect Chiropractic. Life today can keep us stuck in stress mode. Headaches, poor sleep, constant tension, feeling worn down. At Connect Chiropractic, the focus isn't just masking symptoms, it's finding the root cause, helping your nervous system function the way it was designed so your body can heal, adapt, and perform at its best. If you deal with headaches, sleep struggles, or neck and back pain from long days at a desk, take a closer look. Start with a first visit at Connect Chiropractic. It includes advanced scans, digital x-rays, helping uncover what's really going on. Connect Chiropractic.
It's opening weekend in Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm feeling good.
Fly ball to right. It is high. It is deep. Bye-bye baseball. Second deck for Salvatore.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 12:35 as the Brewers take on the White Sox. This series is sponsored by Matrix Basements. We are the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 9 o'clock, it is 43 degrees here in Milwaukee. Today, partly cloudy with a high of 63, and tonight, a low of 47. From the WTNJ Breaking News Center, I'm Nazir Spencer. Another round of No Kings protests in Milwaukee Saturday to protest the Trump administration.
The protest on the corner of Bradford Avenue and Downer Avenue drew a large crowd Saturday on Milwaukee's east side. Jacqueline tells WTMJ.
The Donald Trump administration ruined a ton of people's lives. Lives of people that I love, lives of people I don't know.
Protests took place across the state, including in Milwaukee's Washington Park, Greenfield, Brookfield, Muskego, Madison, and Green Bay.
I know that people are hurting, and that's just not what a president should be doing.
Thousands turned out across the country at more than 3,100 rallies across the U.S. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Protesters around the country joined the No Kings rallies on Saturday. News Nation's Mills Hayes has more.
Minnesota State Capitol. That was really the flagship protest today. And over in New York City, actor Robert De Niro had some fiery words for the president. Take a listen.
Trump has to be stopped. And that's what No Kings is all about, because he can't do all the up things that he's been doing without the collusion of Congress and the goons in his administration.
White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson dismissed the protests as Trump derangement therapy sessions. As Scholastic athletes head into spring sports, they're being reminded to fuel up to prevent injuries. CBS's Steve Kathan has more tips.
The best thing before workouts, practices, or games?
The biggest source of energy are your carbs.
Sports medicine doctor Bianca Edison recommends carbs and protein from eggs or beans and at least 3 liters of water a day.
If you're even 3 to 5% dehydrated, that triggers thirst, and so you're already behind the curve.
It changed things dramatically for 13-year-old California soccer player Wesley Moss.
Ankles and knees don't hurt as much, and my body can support all the playing that I do.
Steve Kathan, CBS News.
You watched opening day, cheered every run, but the Brewers are facing a $20 million challenge just to get the games on your screen this season. FanDuel Sports, the team's usual broadcaster, imploded, leaving the Brewers and MLB to produce games themselves. Tim Gibbons, editor-in-chief at the Milwaukee Business Journal, tells WTMJ.
Major League Baseball is producing the telecast. The Brewers are going to be selling advertising and doing all of that sort of things. The goal of the team, and they're very clear on this, is it's still going to be high quality, exactly what you want if you are watching those games on TV. They're going to have the same play-by-play announcers. They're going to have all of the things that you expect from a baseball telecast.
Viewing experiences will be the same, but behind the scenes, the financial picture has changed entirely. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:03.
So I was talking with another real estate agent who has been in the business even longer than I have, with a couple of other big-name companies. He was talking about how it's tough to compete with us because we have good agents and we charge less commission. And he even said that he lost a few listings to us, and it always bothered him because he realized that he was doing everything that we were doing, but he was charging more. We do charge less, and we do everything that a full-service agency does. Because we are full-service real estate agents. The only difference is we give you our very best commission rate up front. You do pay for what you get. And with Century 21 Benefit Realty for 1.9% on the listing side of your home, with a cap of $19,000 commission on any size home, you can get full-service experienced agents, MLS marketing, professional photos, even virtual walkthroughs, and everything you get from any other big-name agent, all under the umbrella of the Century 21 brand. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Load up and cash in at our Buy More, Earn More event this week at Fleet Farm. From March 23rd through the 29th, all Fleet Rewards members will earn bonus rewards on qualifying purchases for the whole family. Earn $10 when you spend $100, earn $25 when you spend $200, and earn $50 in rewards when you spend $350. Membership's free. Sign up in-store or online. And remember, the bigger the haul, the more you earn. So stock up now at Fleet Farm's Buy More, Earn More event. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Start your Milwaukee weight loss program now to lose weight fast. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Call for your free weight loss consultation, 262-449-1180. That's 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Milwaukee Bucks are officially out of playoff contention after their loss to the Spurs Saturday afternoon, 95-127. Their next game is today at 2:30 against the LA Clippers. The Brewers are 2-0 after beating the White Sox 6-1 Saturday night. Their next game is today against the White Sox at 1:10. You can listen to the game right here on 620 WTMJ. The Badgers men hockey team beat Michigan State Saturday in overtime to clinch a spot in the Frozen Four. They play North Dakota on Thursday at 6:30. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited Siding and a whole lot more. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ, time saver traffic, no major issues or delays across the system at full freeway speeds.
Traffic is sponsored by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Whatever the weather, visit WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Visit Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center today for another two-man scramble tournament. Play at Georgia Golf Club on spacious, state-of-the-art simulators unlike any other.
Must play in March. Cash prizes only. No green jackets.
Here's your WTMJ forecast. Today, partly to mostly cloudy with a high of 63. Tonight, becoming mostly clear with a low of 47. Monday, partly cloudy and warm. Dry during the day, but a chance of a shower or storm at night. And a high of 72 inland. Tuesday, scattered showers and storms with a high of 67. Wednesday, partly cloudy and cooler with a high of 41. And Thursday, a chance of rain and snow mix with a high of 40. Right now in Milwaukee, it is 43 degrees. I'm Nazir Spencer, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:07.
This is Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. And now it's time for New at 9.
You know, people for the most part ignore what's going on in Washington until it affects them personally. And right now, there are two big things going on. Those rising gas prices as well as the TSA lines. And joining us is former Congressman Scott Klug. He's one of the Republican co-chairs of the Bipartisan Democracy Defense Project. And first, good morning, Scott. Always great to have you here.
Thanks, Libby. Good morning to you.
You know, you spent 8 long years in Washington at a time when Republicans and Democrats actually talked to each other and found solutions to problems. But this is no longer the case. Are people starting to get fed up?
Well, the problem is, I think what goes on in Washington doesn't necessarily reflect where people are in Wausau and Waukesha. You know, the sort of what goes on in Washington now is largely a lot of street theater aimed at political bases. And, you know, we've got some major problems in this country, starting with the national debt. And, you know, the interest on the national debt is bigger than the defense budget at this point. It's only going to keep to grow. And I think there's a growing frustration in the country with what really seems a political class that's much more interested in scoring points than solving problems. Now, that's also not to say let's pretend the United States has always been happy and everybody gathers for guitar songs at night. It's never been that way, but we're at sort of at a peak shrillness, in my personal opinion.
All right, so how in good conscience can people who are on the payroll as congressmen and as senators leave on a 2-week vacation when you've got federal workers who haven't been paid in over a month?
Well, yeah, it's crazy, and both sides sort of take turns playing hostage with federal workers. I was actually there for one of the first shutdowns during the Clinton administration, and at that point, we actually were stuck in Washington trying to get a deal done. I remember Christmas shopping in Washington for my 3 boys because I couldn't get back home because of commitments in D.C. But I'm also going to take a little bit of umbrage at the idea of vacation. I mean, where they are is at a point where if they're doing their job, they should be back listening to what constituents say, and they should be meeting with, you know, kids in school groups and talking to them, and the local Rotary and the Optimist Club, and making themselves visible in their districts. So I'm not sure that, like, everybody jetted off to Jamaica for the next 2 weeks. But it's, you know, I just went down to see my oldest son and a new grandchild in Atlanta, and I was stunned by the lines for TSA. And I travel enough that I have TSA pre-check, and I think it took us almost an hour to get through security lines. And Atlanta is one of the busiest airports in the world, but, you know, some of the situations in New York and Los Angeles are even worse than that. So, you know, there's got to be a way to cut a deal to get these guys payment. I think the president's going to make it happen, but it's going to make life miserable for everybody trying to do a spring break vacation.
So you were standing in a line, a pre-check line for an hour, and you saw the people around you who weren't pre-check, who were probably there for 2, 3, 4 hours. What was their attitude? What things did you overhear them saying?
I think people were just, I think we're just stunned with how long it was taking where I was, because when you walked in the Atlanta airport and you got in, they said you have to go to the end of the line. I turned left and I just kept like walking forever and figuring like, my God, I'm going to be in Savannah by the time I actually get to where the line ends. And what happened was there was then a turnoff to the right for folks with pre-check. And I said, well, I'm a fancy pre-check guy. Now it's going to move. And people were just, you know, it's like a line at Disney World. You just sort of stare at your loafers and take 2 steps forward and wait for the next person. But you could see inevitably what happens is some person who got to the end of the pre-check line and they really didn't have pre-check on their tickets. And those are the people I went, oh, my God, because they have to go back to the counter, get different boarding passes, and then turn around and get another line. I mean, if I was them, I'd just walk out the airport and rebook my flight and go another day. So it's going to be bad. Now, the answer is if you're flying out of Milwaukee or you're flying out of Madison, I don't suspect things are really, really bad. But if you're going someplace to Los Angeles for, you know, Disneyland, or going to Florida for the beaches, or going to New York City for the theater, I think it's going to, if this doesn't get solved, it's going to be a huge shock for people when they try to come back home, because the major airports are just, and Chicago, I'm sure, is just a disaster.
We're talking with former Congressman Scott Klug. He's one of the Republican co-chairs of the Bipartisan Democracy Defense Project. All right, let's talk about something that is probably affecting even more people than TSA lines, and that is that rising price of gasoline, based, of course, on what is known as, I guess, President Trump's excursion into Iran. How long do you, I mean, was this the right choice for them at the right time? I mean, what went into that decision, and why now?
Those are all good questions, and I don't really have a lot of answers for you on a Sunday morning. But I served in Congress when President H.W. Bush decided to go into Iraq, and I remember Colin Powell saying, if you remember, the U.S. got the Iraqi troops out of Kuwait, pushed them back towards Baghdad, and Colin Powell looked at him and said, "If you break it, you own it." So Iran's a pretty complicated place. I mean, I've stood, and where the Straits of Hormuz is, not on the Iranian side, but instead on the side of Oman, looking across, and it's only 24 miles. I mean, and at some of the points it gets even closer than that. So the question gets to be, how do you declare victory and how do you go home? And I think that's what's really not very clear. I mean, the Iranian government, I think is going to face some challenges moving forward, because they're going to have the same economic problems, and now the security forces have been stagnated. But the problem with the strait there, as you've seen with the Ukrainians, and that the Ukrainians have used cheap underwater drones to take out Russian battleships. And so it's a huge risk if you've got tankers piled up there. One of the ideas, I think, is to seize an island that sits in the middle of the Gulf in order to where all the Iranian facilities are to deploy oil. But if we get in there and seize that and break that, then I think clearly the Iranians have shown the ability, to hit Saudi Arabia and hit the United Arab Emirates and really disrupt about 40% of the flow of oil in the world. So it's a very scary economic scenario for everybody, and I don't think there are any really good answers to this. And so now that we're in, I think we've got to figure out how we get out. The Iranians also, we've got squeeze points on them, so they've got a tough situation to be in. But if you're a totalitarian government hanging on for survival, chances are you'll do whatever you have to do to just try to hang on to power. And in the case of Iran, that meant we have to ask whether this has led to them being even more aggressive in the future.
Are you concerned that now that we're there, we're not going to be able to get out?
No, because I don't think we're going to put boots on the ground. I mean, Iran has 90 million people, so it's huge. I mean, it's even bigger than Iraq was. And the problem with Iran is a lot of very powerful ethnic groups. And the one that your listeners will probably recognize are the Kurds, because the Kurds were an ethnic group in northern Iran, in Iraq, and in Turkey that helped the U.S. fight ISIS. They're very pro-Western. Their kids are all well educated, but the Kurds have always fought for an independent homeland. So you've got the Kurds in the north. There's a country that borders Iran called Azerbaijan, and the Azeris are restless. And on the far eastern side of the country, there's some restless ethnic groups that come right up against to Afghanistan. So if Iran starts to come apart, then we really got a mess on our hands. And so that's, back to the old adage that if you break it, you own it. And it's a place we don't want to break. It's more complicated than Iraq is.
Okay, so let's circle back then. We know we've got these problems, a lot of things we have no control over. They're making the decisions in Washington. How is that going to affect voters here in Wisconsin, especially? So going to the polls in about 10 days for the primaries. And, I mean, we've got those midterms coming up in November. What impact is that going to have on the election, the mess that we've got in Washington right now?
Well, the answer is the Republicans are in for a really long day. And even if the economy was doing well and we have, ships in the middle of the Persian Gulf, the midterms are a referendum on the party that's in power, and everybody loses seats in the midterm. I'll tell you, when you think about Barack Obama and passing the health care legislation, he was able to do it because at that point there was a Democratic bloc in the House, blue dogs, a lot of them more Southern and more conservative, but not necessarily so. And the 72 blue dogs were the ones who supported Barack Obama and got health care passed. They all got wiped out 2 years later. And majority of this big Blue Dog Caucus went from 72 down to 11. So that's the problem for Republicans. I think the real thing to watch, Libby, for your listeners who are political buffs, is watch the Senate races, because that's where the fight will be. Two interesting ones to watch: Maine, where Susan Collins is a longtime moderate Republican, who I actually won a lot of bets last time she was up for re-election because she skated through like she always does. And there's a primary in Maine with a former governor of Maine, a longstanding Maine political family who's in her 70s, running against a 34-year-old guy who's a former fisherman who's sort of playing up his working class roots. So it's a primary to watch, and it'll be a general for Susan Collins coming up. I think that's the most interesting one. And the other one is in Texas, where John Cornyn, who by any stretch of the world is not a squishy Republican, but he's got a fight going on with the Democratic Attorney General, the Republican Attorney General, and who comes out of that may be weakened. And it may put a Republican Senate seat in play in Texas. But I also have to tell you that for the last 30 years, the Democrats always wake up thinking they're going to win a big election in Texas, and it hasn't happened since the early 1990s. So, but those are the two races. If Maine and Texas go the wrong way, then the Democrats will not only take over control of the House, they're going to take over control of the Senate, and that'll mean Donald Trump will have a really long last 2 years.
Oh, I think you put the nail on the head. Former Congressman Scott Klug, again, you're with the Bipartisan Democracy Defense Project, and also you've got a Substack.
I do, yeah. So people can find me there very creatively. Scott Klug at Substack.com. I tend to write about politics, but sometimes I just wrote a piece about education, and just wrote a piece about the fact that years ago, when there was a thaw with the Iranians, a group of former members tried to get a delegation to go to Iran. And the guy we ended up meeting with, negotiating with, who said he was going to make it happen and never happened, was the second major political leader of Iran, who was killed in a missile strike 10 days ago. So if you're interested, like some reading, always glad to have new subscribers. And the important thing to point out is it's free. So Scott Klug at Substack.com.
Scott, always great to have you here. Thanks so much for getting up early on a Sunday morning.
Thanks, Libby. Take care.
Take care. All right, it is 9:19, 42 degrees at WTMJ.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory's arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says, "I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be dispersed." At this point in Lent, how is it going? This is Archbishop Jeffrey Grob. So many of us feel fractured, pulled in different directions by the worries of daily life. As Easter draws nearer, we're invited to pause and ask, have these weeks helped us become more centered? Have we allowed God to lead us and to use us as instruments of His work? Or are we still scattered? Join us at Mass. Come and be gathered.
We see you out there coming up with original ideas, which is why you shop at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, because you know when inspiration rises, we'll have what you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Get a head start on spring savings with 50 quart bags of Miracle Grow potting mix, just $12.99. Plus, new at Blaine's, shop Purina Livestock Feed, science-backed nutrition to help animals stay healthy and productive. Find the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Just want to remind you that today is Vietnam Veterans Day. There's a ceremony this morning at the Milwaukee War Memorial. It's all happening at 10:30 this morning. And if you want to honor those very brave men and women who fought for us in Vietnam, this is a great day to do it. Again, 10:30 this morning at the Milwaukee War Memorial. It's 9:21. Coming up next, Dom Catronio joins us to talk about the Brewers on Wisconsin Weekend Morning News.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Start the new year right. Use your vision benefits and schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam. You can check out new frame styles and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Shopco Optical is committed to quality eye care and will create personalized vision solutions tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. New year, new you, new style. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
So if you're looking to install a new glass shower door, you're going to want to see selection. The more you see, the better choice you can make. And that's why our store is loaded with 20 different glass shower door options. And what sets Les's Glass apart is that you're going to have somebody close by for help who's been here for years and years to ask them questions and get reliable answers. Now, no one's going to be hounding you, but when you need an answer, you're not going to have to search around. One thing you can count on at Les's Glass is that there will always be a member of our staff here with decades of experience. And that matters, because how many times have you been at the big box home improvement store, walking around trying to find someone who can actually answer your questions? This is Stacy Sinks. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Take me out to the ball game.
Well, it's been a great couple of opening days for the Milwaukee Brewers, and they've been doing pretty well against the White Sox. But what's the forecast when they come to facing division rivals? Joining us is Dominic Cotroneo. You know him. He is the host of WTMJ's Brewers Warm-Up, Brewers Extra Innings, Brewers Weekly, and so much more. And nobody knows the Brewers better than Dom. Good morning.
Good morning, Debbie. How are you?
You know, it's been a great couple days at AmFam, but again, it's the White Sox. What have you seen on the field, and what does it tell you about how the rest of the season's going to go?
You know, Libby, I think the big thing that I see from the Brewers right now is just the amount of talent, top to bottom, that this lineup has. Like, everyone has an elite tool. Everyone has something that can contribute to winning games, whether it be, you know, the power of somebody like William Contreras or Christian Yelich, or the speed and ability of a David Hamilton and a Garrett Mitchell, or the defensive ability of Joey Ortiz, Bryce Terang, in addition to other tools that all these guys have. So the way that the Brewers broke camp, and the way that you compare this team's opening day roster to last year's opening day roster, in my opinion, it's night and day. I just think that this team is very dynamic, maybe even more leaning into the speed, defense, ball and play attitude that we've seen so much success from the last couple of seasons.
Now, I know you've obviously been watching the Brewers up close, but what about those division rivals? How are they going to do once they face the Cubs, the Cardinals, and some of those other teams?
Yeah, we got to pace ourselves here. We're only 2 games into the season, right? We can't even be thinking about the division yet at this point. It's only March still, for instance. But the way I see it, the Brewers have this quirk in the schedule that they're actually not facing a divisional opponent until late April. Very
kidding?
Late, much later than usual. The Brewers, in fact, 6 of their first 7 series are against American League foes. And it's very, very odd, given the only National League foe they're going to face is the Washington Nationals coming up next homestand in not this weekend, but next weekend. So the way that the schedule worked out, it's very odd. I mean, both of these teams are going to be very different by that point. And maybe it's good news for the Brewers, given by that point they would hope to have Jackson Chourio back into the lineup, and maybe they'll be getting closer on Quinn Priester and getting closer on Andrew Vaughn.
Well, you know, last year it wasn't until we got into summer where the Brewers really was showing the force of that team, that they're starting out well. And again, like you said, it's only been 2 games. Is it hard to hold momentum through an entire season?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there will always be waves and tides of, you know, there was that part of the summer last year where it felt like the Brewers couldn't lose, right? And we all remember that. But I think a lot of people also remember what it felt like the first month of the season, where it felt like they couldn't win. So it goes in both directions, right? Where the Brewers understand this is a marathon, not a sprint. We can use every cliche in the book of what you want to think about when it comes to success and what it takes to win 97 games like they did last season. But the reality is they are going to lose games. There's going to be a 4-game losing streak. There's going to be a losing 8 out of 12 games or whatever, and everyone's going to be freaking out and overreacting to that. Those days will come, but that's the beauty of baseball, is that you can have those stretches and it doesn't derail your season because we play 162 of them.
What are you looking forward to most? I mean, after seeing them on 2 games, is there anything in particular that stands out to you?
I think the biggest thing that I'm excited for with this club is there's more coming. And what I mean by that is sometimes on opening day, teams' rosters kind of get like, hey, this is the roster. This is the team that we expect to, win all season long or whatever. There's not much movement sometimes from some teams' opening day rosters from a position player front or whatever they need from a talent perspective. Whatever the Brewers get thrown at them, I mean, look at it now. We've already seen 2 injuries impact the Brewers' daily lineup in having Jackson Churio go on the injured list and Andrew Vaughn go on the injured list, but you call up a top prospect in Jefferson Caro. You have the ability to move Brandon Lockridge around and recall Blake Perkins. You still have more talent in AAA like Robert Gasser and like Jet Williams and Tyler Black and guys like that are just so talented that can help this club in the future if something were to happen, whereas, with all due respect to last year's team, I don't think that depth was really there, especially in the beginning of the year last year.
Well, Dom, you are on top of it. You are one of the best analysts that I know, especially when it comes to the Brewers. And, of course, we can hear you throughout the season on Brewers Warm-Up, Brewers Extra Innings, Brewers Weekly right here on WTMJ ESPN Milwaukee. Thank you so much for getting up with us this morning.
Brewers Warm-Up at noon today. We got post-game once again. Thanks, Libby.
We'll be listening. Dominic Cotroneo. It's 9:28 on WTMJ.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes living at 3 Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Lark.
I love the location, and that's the main reason Dave and I are there, is because of nature all around us. I knew when we moved in, I was leaving behind a lot of stress and responsibility. I decided now is the time to do what I want when I want to do it.
Schedule a tour today at 3pillars.org.
3 generations ago, it was about doing one thing and doing it right.
Hardwood, tile, carpet, floors that had to last because our name, Adair, was on them. Over time, homeowners asked us to do more. Kitchens, bathrooms, full remodels. And so our name changed to Adair Floors and Remodeling.
But flooring has always been the foundation, literally.
And it's something the next generation already understands.
Hi, I'm Ava. Hi, I'm Quinn. My dad does floors.
From hardwood and luxury vinyl plank to tile and carpet, we handle selection, layout, and professional installation.
And because we also remodel homes, we know how flooring works with everything else. Transitions, finishes, and long-term durability.
When you hire Adair, you're getting experience you can stand on and people who will be here for decades to come.
Call my dad. Bye-bye.
Adair Floors and Remodeling. Built on flooring, trusted for remodels. 3 generations, 1 standard. Call us at 414-761-3660 for your free flooring estimate.
It's springtime, and instead of getting outside and having fun, you have to paint the deck, repair the boards, and discover more rotten wood on your deck. Call Outdoor Living Unlimited to replace the old beaten-down wood deck with a beautiful new composite deck with new railing. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's top TimberTech decking installer and can deliver a design and build your next maintenance-free deck. Stop by our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Coming up to 9:31, and we've got Nazir Spencer in the WTMJ Breaking News Center. Nazir, a lot of people have been waiting for the Tremaine Jones trial, and it's getting underway this week.
Yes, thank you, Libby. The trial for a Milwaukee man accused of killing police officer Kendall Quarter is set to begin Monday. Prosecutors say 23-year-old Tremaine Jones faces charges including first-degree intentional homicide and attempted homicide in connection to a June 2025 shooting near 24th and Garfield. Investigators say Jones was firing a gun before officers arrived, and Officer Quarter was shot while responding to the scene. He died days later at the hospital. Jones has pleaded not guilty and could face life in prison if convicted. A Madison teacher has been arrested in connection with an alleged inappropriate relationship with a student. Madison police say 28-year-old Eliav Goldman, a music teacher at Vel Phillips Memorial High School and Toki Middle School, is accused of grooming. The Madison Metropolitan School District says Goldman was previously placed on leave and is now cooperating with law enforcement. Superintendent Dr. Joe Gothard says the district has a zero tolerance for misconduct and is offering support to those impacted. No formal charges have been filed yet, and the investigation is ongoing. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ time saver traffic. Looks like there's an incident on I-94 South, about less than a mile beyond ramp from Rawson Avenue. The left shoulder is blocked due to that incident, so just be mindful of that if you're heading up south or north on 94, about less than a mile beyond ramp from Rawson Avenue. Otherwise, looking pretty clear across the rest of the system.
Traffic is sponsored by Angela Calais and Benefit Realty. At Benefit Realty, pay only 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission and get all the service that you should. Benefit Realty, you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, partly to mostly cloudy and breezy and mild with a high of 63. Tonight, becoming mostly clear, low of 47. And Monday, partly cloudy and warm, dry during the day, but a chance of a shower or storm at night. And a high of 68 near the lake and 72 inland. And Tuesday, scattered showers and storms with a high of 67. Wednesday, partly cloudy and cooler with a high of 41. And Thursday, a chance of a rain-snow mix and a high of 40. Right now in Milwaukee, it is 45 degrees. I'm Nazir Spencer, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:33.
Hey, Nazir, I got a personal question for you.
What's up? What's up?
Have you ever had a colonoscopy?
I have not, no.
Yeah, well, okay. And you said that like, oh, please, no. And let me tell you, that is probably the most dreaded procedure test that anybody goes under. And guess what?
What?
There's an alternative.
Oh, wow. I want to hear about
and we're gonna tell you about it right after this on Wisconsin Weekend Morning News.
Join the Brewers series against the White Sox March 26th, 28th, and 29th. Grab this year's first giveaway on Saturday the 28th, a replica of American Family Field for the first 25,000 fans, courtesy of American Family Insurance. On the 29th, it's kids cheer free. Buy an adult terrace seat and receive a free ticket for kids ages 14 and under. On Sunday the 29th, the first 5,000 kids get a drip necklace giveaway. Grab your seats at brewers.com/tickets.
Day after day, year after year, the heavy lifting, the repetitive motion, and now your body feels it. Your back, your knees, your quality of life.
At Access Legal, we stand up for people worn down by work.
Workers' comp is our sole focus, and our team has recovered more than $35 million for Wisconsin workers. From sudden accidents to pain that builds over years of hard work, we're dedicated to fighting for the benefits you're entitled to. If you've been worn down by work, contact Access Legal for a risk-free consultation.
Search AXIS Legal today.
When you think about your financial future, it helps to have fee-only fiduciary guidance that puts your interests first. At Annex Wealth Management, you receive comprehensive planning from a team that includes wealth managers, financial planners, and investment specialists working together to support your financial life. Annex's advice is designed to stay aligned with your goals without commissions influencing recommendations. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Click Get Started at annexwealth.com.
Hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, cold plunge. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Sale is happening at the Realtors Home and Garden Show inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park. For a limited time, you can save thousands with factory direct pricing and special show discounts. Shop floor models, brand new inventory, and exclusive show-only deals you won't find anywhere else. Don't miss the Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Sale, March 20th through the 29th, only at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Come see it, try it, and save big at the show.
And welcome back to the final half hour of Wisconsin Weekend Morning News. I'm Libby Collins. Still ahead this half hour, we are going to be telling you about options for your high school students if they don't want to go to college. But first, let's talk about this. Colorectal cancer is the third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in Wisconsin, but it's highly treatable if it's caught early. If people are still reluctant to go through traditional screening, and joining us on our WTMJ hotline is Dr. Sam Asgharian. He's Vice President for Clinical Development and Screening at Guardant Health. And Dr. Asgharian, you have some news about a more convenient test for consumers.
I do, yes. So if consumers have been waiting for a blood draw, just a blood test for colorectal cancer screening is out, and so they have another option, hopefully, to get them screened.
All right, well, let's talk about the test itself, because as we know, people are really afraid of getting those colonoscopies. And that's sort of been the way we've done it now for decades. Why do people feel that a blood screen will be easier for them, and how does the medical field feel about that?
Yeah, for decades, we've been trying to get the screening rates overall for colorectal cancer up to 80% of eligible Americans, and we've never hit that number. We're always kind of touching 60%. And it's because it's what you said. The colonoscopy, it's inconvenient, it's invasive, I have to take time off work, I need to be fully fasting, obviously. And so we've added this Shield test, and the Shield test is a blood draw. So it is still a little invasive. You still have to get a needle, but it's no different than any other blood work that you do. And to your question, physicians really like this. Physicians order blood draws all the time. This is just another blood draw, but it gets you screened for colorectal cancer. And so our goal, hopefully, is to see those colorectal cancer rates start to increase, especially now that March is coming to an end and we've had such a successful colorectal cancer awareness month.
All right, how accurate is the blood draw test compared to a colonoscopy?
So it's almost as accurate. When this got FDA approval, the blood test in July of 2024, the FDA made it a first-line indication. That means that it's close to existing screening options. Colonoscopy, of course, is the gold standard. It's really cool in that not only can you visualize whether cancer is there, but you can start to treat it at the same time. It catches over 90% of all the colorectal cancers when someone has a colonoscopy. The blood test is not that far behind. We did a very large study. We published the results in the New England Journal of Medicine, and in a population of over almost 20,000 Americans, it found 83% of all the colorectal cancers. The other difference, of course, is if you get a colonoscopy and it's negative, you don't need to go get another one as long as you're feeling okay for another 7 to 10 years. Because the blood test is kind of in those 80s for sensitivity catching colorectal cancer, you only have to do it every 3 years if you're negative.
We're talking with Dr. Sam Asgharian. He's Vice President for Clinical Development Screening at Guardant Health. All right, now you mentioned the 83% accuracy rate. When a person has a colonoscopy, other things are sometimes found. I mean, if you have polyps or some other digestive issues, are we going to still find those things with a blood test, or would you have to go through traditional colonoscopy screening?
You still have to go through colonoscopy for finding other things. The Shield test is indicated for colorectal cancer screening. It's not going to find anything else. It's not going to look for anything else. And again, it's far away from the colon, right? It's a vein in your arm that they get the blood from. And obviously the colonoscopy is a camera inside your colon. So it's going to do exactly what you described. It's going to find some other suspicious things. That's why if people are getting the colonoscopy, they should still probably get it. And the doctors are going to recommend it. But if you're not getting it, now's the time to have that conversation with your doctor about the right test for you.
What is the cost? And is it covered by most insurance?
Yeah, so the cost varies very much because of insurance coverage. Our goal is to make sure that people are covered for this, especially because it's screening. So the good news is, starting when it launched in August of 2024, it's covered for all Medicare beneficiaries. So all of our senior Wisconsin residents have access to this test at little to no copay. Since then, it's expanded, so it's available for all of our veterans through the Community Care Network for Veteran Affairs. So all of our retired service members have access to this with little or no copay. And it's also expanded to our active duty service members through TRICARE. So all of those scenarios exist. For everyone else, we're working really closely to get insurance coverage for this. And what we do is we don't run the test until we have a conversation with the patient, letting them know what their cost is going to be, and then letting them know whether they're eligible for financial assistance programs through Guardant Health or not.
Are there any people with any sort of conditions that you would recommend having the traditional test versus this new blood test?
The current recommendation for average risk Americans is that all 45 or older individuals get screened for colorectal cancer. If someone is higher risk, if they're being told by their doctor, hey, I think you should get this done sooner, they should absolutely stick with the colonoscopy and listen to their physician when it comes to that advice. We know this is a deadly disease. When it's caught early, it has a 91% chance of survival. But when it's caught late, it all goes all the way down to a 13% chance. And so that's why if you have a higher risk of colorectal cancer, it's important to listen to your physician and probably get, a colonoscopy until such time that we make sure that this test is approved for those types of individuals.
With the blood test, is there an incidence of false negative or false positive results?
There is. And in that same study that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, there was a 10% false positive rate. The good news is anytime the test is positive, the individual needs to go get a colonoscopy, which they were due for anyway. But now it's more of a diagnostic colonoscopy. Now the doctors are looking to see if there's something there to confirm it and then treat it. So those individuals with that false positive wound up getting a colonoscopy anyway. And even though the blood test was a false positive, the good news is because the colonoscopy was negative, they don't need to be screened again for colorectal cancer for almost 10 years.
And did you have any incidence of false negatives?
Yes. So that is kind of, if you take the 83% and subtract it from 100%, the false negatives were 17%. So there were 17% of the individuals in that group that did get the blood test that came out as a false negative. Again, that's something that we're working to improve on. So even though we got FDA approval for this version of the test, our team at Guardant Health with over a decade of blood testing research experience is already working to reduce that number down.
Okay, well, I think this is good news for a lot of people. And if they want to learn more about this new screening technique, again, it's a blood draw versus a colonoscopy, where can they learn more?
All that information is available at shieldcancerscreen.com. One word, shieldcancerscreen.com. You can get information about ordering the test, about what the test requires. And then if you're a physician listening in and you're thinking, hey, this might be applicable to my patients, there's physician information listed there as well. And we're always available. Contact information for Guardant Health is in there if people have questions about getting the test, the cost, or anything else that comes to mind.
And I think this discussion today is a good reminder, get screened. Don't let that pass. Dr. Sam Asgharian from Guardant Health, thanks so much for joining us today.
Really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks so much.
It's 9:43, 46 degrees. We're going to get up to 63 today under cloudy skies.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. If 2025 didn't go exactly as planned, you're not alone. You made it through, and that's what counts. Now it's time for taxes, and for a lot of people, that's when the stress kicks in, especially if things got messy along the way. The good news, a rough year doesn't mean a ruined future. We helped Nate fix a tax mess with the IRS caused by one of those national firms and saved him $103,000 in penalties, plus another $152,000 in taxes because we know the tax law. Imagine walking into tax season with a clear plan and someone in your corner who knows the tax law and knows how to use it. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call us now at 414-325-2040 to arrange a meeting to see how we can help you. Don't wait. Call now. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Accunet Mortgages and Equality Lender, NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert here with my son David, Accunet's president and maestro of metaphor. What do you have for us today?
Dad, buying a home is a lot like having a baby. And it turns out that in today's extra competitive market, getting real estate pregnant with your offer accepted is the hardest part. So along with your agent, your Accunet loan consultant will do everything possible to get your real estate bun in the oven.
Yep, we can definitely help buyers make their offers more competitive. Okay, so once you've made the real estate baby, so to speak, what else do buyers and their agents want?
As a son, now this is getting gross and I regret the metaphor. But the next thing everyone wants are regular checkups and an on-time delivery. That's where Accunet really shines, with proactive weekly updates to reassure the sometimes nervous homeowners-to-be that everything's okay and on track.
It all starts with a rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval, and our home buying clinic is always open. Just click on the blue button at Accunet.com to get started. That's ACCUNET.com.
Writer, producer Michael Trinkline's been researching and interviewing TV legends for decades. I'm not kidding. Absolutely. You know, he is one of the most interesting people, and he's talked to all of these greats. Well, you know, you can pretty much tell how old somebody is by the late night TV hosts they watch most often. And of course, that was the theme song when Johnny Carson was doing The Tonight Show. And Michael Trinkline shared some comparisons about these legends. You have done a lot of documentaries about legends in television. What makes a legend?
People think it's innate talent, and Dick Van Dyke is an example of someone who does have a lot of innate talent. But I guess from interviewing all these people over the years, it's really more about perseverance. It's more about people who are willing to give up something to attain something. A lot of people who are very, very famous often have parts of their lives where, you know, they just had to not have that part of their life. I feel like Betty White never had any children, right? So we did a film on her, and she's a wonderful person, but she had to make that decision. You know, I'm not going to have a family, and that's just it. And other people have made their sacrifices. So I think, you know, if you think that people who are famous have it all, they often don't.
And he also talked about some of those late-night TV hosts. There were two bridges, I think, between people like Carson and Parr and Allen and who we have today, Kimmel, Colbert, whatever. And that was Jay Leno and David Letterman.
Right.
Would you classify either of those individuals as future legends?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, in their own way, in their own time. Yeah, we interviewed Jay Leno, and he talked about how he felt and how he fell in that pantheon of people and how much respect he had for Johnny Carson and couldn't really replace him. But he did his own thing. And we also actually interviewed Steve Allen, which was interesting because he really, if you look at the Steve Allen show, you understand everything better because you see where David Letterman comes from, right? I mean, you see where some of even the modern guys come from. He's doing bits that are kind of coming back today where Carson was more about talking and Jack Parr was more about lecturing people, but, you know, it was more intellectual. But it was Steve Allen who was doing the stuff that we later saw and other guys do.
Michael Trinkline lives right here in Milwaukee, and he is one of the creatives behind PBS's Pioneers of Television, as well as that Dick Van Dyke's 100th celebration, Betty White's documentary, and quite a few other documentaries and TV shows that have been about some of the TV greats. So if you enjoy classic television, you definitely want to be listening this morning at 11 o'clock when I talk with Michael Trinkline on WTMJ Conversations. It's 9:48, 46 degrees at WTMJ. Coming up next, if you've got that high schooler and he's saying, "Oh, Mom, oh, Dad, I don't want to go to college. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life." Well, he or she, I should say, needs to have a plan. And we're going to tell you about some of these high school students and what they can do to make sure that they are part of a skilled workforce. It's all ahead on Wisconsin Weekend Morning News.
When it comes to simple, affordable home improvements, at Les's Glass, you'll find an array of options. Like for bath remodeling, adding a new glass shower door, embeveling the edges of your mirrors, or simply having us install new mirrors to any living space in your home can add a touch of elegance and depth that can really turn a room's frown upside down. Or maybe you're thinking new cabinet doors. Before you write that check, find out how we can make your ordinary cabinet doors beautiful with a variety of glass insert options that can be easily installed into your existing wood cabinets and make a world of difference. And before you pay for new windows, call us to see if our affordable insulated glass replacement services can't save you a few bucks. This is Stacy Sinks with Les's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
True luxury is the absence of worry. It begins the moment you settle into your seat with Delta Vacations and continues as you step onto the polished teak decks of a Holland America ship. Whether you're chasing the northern lights or the Mediterranean sun, Fox World Travel anticipates every detail so you can simply savor the journey. Stop managing the logistics and start making memories. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or visit foxworldtravel.com to elevate your travel today.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee and Waukesha. Griffin. The buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 1 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on March 31st.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Tampa Bay Rays.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness, third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in March 31st at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee or check your local listings to watch the game.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
It is so important that young people have a plan of getting into the workforce. And for over 50 years, Skills USA Wisconsin has been working in a partnership with students, teachers, and industry representatives to make sure they are ready. Well, joining us is Jake Mim. He is the director for Skills USA Wisconsin, and they're having their 53rd annual Leadership and Skills Conference next week. And Jake, first of all, let's explain exactly what you do with Skills USA, because it has been an amazing gift for so many young people here in the state.
Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity. Brings me a lot of pride to be able to talk about CTSOs in Wisconsin. That's Career and Technical Student Organizations, whereas Skills USA is the representation for technology and engineering students that are in classes all across the state of Wisconsin that choose to join. There's 166 chapters across the state of Wisconsin. I wish I had the actual stat of how many are participating at state, but I'm sure it's over 150. There's over 2,000 students coming to compete at the Alliant Energy Center, and I'd be happy to tell you more about the student orgs. Just shoot me a couple questions.
All right. Well, first of all, let's ask you, Jake, what exactly are you preparing young people to do? And what are some of the various careers that are represented?
Yeah, and usually when people think about Skills USA, we start to look at the engineering or the trade skills, but intertwined in all of that is also the leadership components that go along with this. So at our state conference, there's just over 60 competitive events that are vetted by business and industry, and that's really at the core of what Skills USA is able to offer at the competitive level. But please understand that the mission of Skills USA is larger than just making the career connection for the hard skills. It's really about developing the entire student, and the mission of empowering students to become not only skilled professionals, but career-ready leaders and responsible community members. The entire mission is to embed the CTSOs within the school district and carry out the work. Yes, we learn things in the class, but the CTSOs are the extension of the classroom to show off those skills, but also to show off the professionalism. They have their resume put together. They can dress for the occasion. They can operate the equipment safely. They are next step ready to be taking the jobs in the workforce in the skilled trades here in Wisconsin, quite frankly, throughout the nation. That there's almost 500,000 members throughout Skills USA nationwide.
You know, for years we've heard that the pathway after high school has to be college. But with having a skill, a real skill that you can use in the workforce, you don't necessarily have to go onto that 4-year degree.
Right. What we like to do is education comes in all forms. You know, I'm of a certain age where we always heard 4-year. And our 2-year colleges throughout the state are unbelievable. The 16 technical colleges here in Wisconsin are wonderful, as well as the 13 4-year colleges. Pairing students with the education that they need that's appropriate with the occupation is finally the roots of what we're getting to. You know, you don't want to over-educate to deliver pizzas later on in your life. You want to pair the skills with the course room or classroom content that you have. And so we're finding that there's shorter pathways to get into the workforce instead of just the 4-year traditional degree, certainly.
Now, you mentioned there's over 165 chapters throughout the state. What if the school your student goes to doesn't have that chapter? Is there a way for them to get involved?
Yeah, so any student can join without having a chapter at their school, but that's a long path, because how does that student get to the events, and how does that student make themselves aware? So, right, there's 421 districts throughout the state, 166 chapters currently, so there's a gap there. Why doesn't every district have a chapter right now? That leads back to things of how CTE is funded, career and technical education is funded in the state of Wisconsin. It takes a conscious effort for districts to step up and say, I do want to adopt this because this is what's best by kids. Sometimes it becomes a money issue as to why some schools aren't participating. So that's the work that I'm trying to do, is to try to bring down costs so that it is more attractive and that it is across all 421 districts in the state.
Jake, we are just about out of time. If anybody wants to find out more about Skills USA Wisconsin, how can they reach you?
Oh, my gosh. Well, the first thing is just get on the website, skillsusa-wi.org. Our website's up to date. You can look at events. You can look at what the mission is. If you want to volunteer, sponsor, or get involved, it is a huge movement that's going on. Lots of people are aware of it at this point, and the more the merrier, because more options for kids in their future is what I'm seeking to provide.
Jake Mim, State Director for Skills USA Wisconsin. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, much appreciated. I appreciate the conversation.
Stick around. Right after the news, it's Reporter's Notebook, and I'll be back at 11 o'clock on WTMJ Conversations with Michael Trickline, talking about those TV greats.
How are things at Kessler's Greenfield, Kelly?
Fantastic. I heard you have an idea for springtime.
I love spring.